I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Kryptonite Show. Your host, Superman, in the house. Woohoo! We've got a doozy, is it right? Doozy in the house today as well, because we're going to be talking about the weekly wrap-up for crypto and PulseChain. Of course, the monster thread has just hit the streets of PulseChain City, and we're going to talk about that from our promotional lead, Crypto MVS. Has just published that, so well done, and it looks spectacular. So we're going to go through a bit of that. And, of course, you guys can share it around as well. It's going to be a fun time going through that. That is just at the street. PulseChain Weekly Monster Thread number 3 is hit the streets there. So you want to find out all the latest things that happened last week, all the alpha bombs that have dropped. That is going to be the one. So I'm going to post the link, of course, in the chat there as well. So Monster Thread. And that is week 3. And, of course, share it around. This is what you share around to all your friends, right, out there. You want to get them interested in PulseChain. You want them to find out all the best things that are happening. Then definitely share that around. That's all I can say about that. The monster is out there. The monster somewhere is out there. And, of course, check it out there. And, of course, well done once again to our promotional lead for the Kryptonite Show. MVS Crypt is crushing it. Yeah, boy. So pretty good. We got a lot of cool stuff happening there. Share that around. All you have to do is just hit the repost button, leave some comments, and smash some likes. That's if you want to help PulseChain, that's how you do it. And, of course, get the good word out there. We've got so many bullish things happening in the last week. It is crazy. We got Property View in the house there. Go Superman. Hey, Property View. Appreciate that. Now, did you guys like that brand new intro? Did you guys like that? The brand new intro to the Kryptonite Show? I love it. And I want to say a really special thanks to the creator of that, of course. Just an incredible job. So I really do appreciate that new image, because it is fantastic. And so, yeah, big shout out, of course, to Mr. Onizuka. Yeah. In fact, we've got to do something. We've got to do that a bit better. Let's do something a bit better with that. Get the horn out. Yeah. Woo! And, of course, the magical trumpet goes well. So thank you very much, Mr. Onizuka in the house, for that new intro. It is badass. I love it. And, of course, I added some sound effects to it. And, yeah, it's pretty cool. We're going to be using that every week. We got Skojak in the house there. Good morning, all. It's good to see you, Skojak. Big welcome. Big shout out to you. Hope you're having a good weekend. We got Wookie as well. Wookie is a monster. Yeah, it's Monday here down in New Zealand, Australia, and the Pacific Islands. It is a Monday. We're so much fun. The future is crazy. Compared to PST time, we're like 19 hours ahead. That's how far ahead we are, particularly in New Zealand. We're at the frontier. I think Australia is about 2 hours behind us in most places. So that's kind of where we are. Craig Pick, morning all. Good to see you, Craig. Big shout out to you as well. And I'm trying to enunciate my words quite well because of the accent differences. You know, sometimes it can be a bit tough, even on the Australian, New Zealand, American, Canadian. We kind of, I guess, all grew up on some of the same stuff, even UK to some degree. Or the UK's got pretty thick accents, but all the other ones are pretty similar, actually. You know, even American, kind of similar to me, because we grew up on TV. It's all pretty normal. All right, so kind of cool. That is the weekly 3 monster thread. Now, the other thing you can do, of course, is share the show around, right? That's the other thing you can do. You can share the show around. So we're going to repost that now ourselves, and that will really help if you guys can share the show. So share the show. Share the show, boys and girls. Share the show on X. Yeah. And that's how you do it. All right, bam. All right, let us go. We're going to get into the main content, of course, the weekly update for crypto and PulseChain. Share the show on X. That's all it takes. Just a little bit of sharing is caring. All right, so I hope you guys are having a great weekend. And without further ado, let's get into some of the cool stuff that's happening on PulseChain. Of course, we're going to start off with the monster thread. So let's move direction on 3, 2, 1, something like that. And bam, we're going. Look at all these fancy new moves we've got on the old show today. is pretty crazy, right? Pretty crazy. Now, this is the weekly monster thread. And of course, this is what we're going to go through a little bit of this, but you guys can read the whole thing. It is packed full of goodness. There's not one story in there that isn't alpha bomb that's happened over the last week, which is setting up PulseChain for really a super bull market. I mean, if you go back on, monster thread number 2 and number 1, you're going to see just a theme, running theme that PulseChain really is ramping up. Yeah, sure, we have, little moves up and down on the markets, but actually, I think things are heading in the right direction. And we're going to go through some of those stories now for week number 3. So let's get into it. PulseChain weekly monster thread number 3. Sunny Decree stunned, Panos Maxi efforts, and Google Trends PulseChain, and much, much more. So some pretty heavyweights there. Sunny Decree, a big influencer. Panos there out in the community trying to get us back onto a centralized exchange, Maxi being one of the big ones. And of course, Google there, we're trending on Google. It is hot, so it is pretty cool. Now, we got some cool stuff around the highest of stakes coming out. You can see Rack and Rochelle sitting on some new form there. Looks pretty awesome. Big shout out to him, doing some pretty neat things. There's lots of cool stories. PulseChain Bridge, Panos secures relisting. See that PulseChain Bridge story? A net inflow of 16 million from Ethereum. Isn't that amazing? That's really been a big jump back in the amount of crypto that's come onto PulseChain. This is like a pre-signal to where PulseChain's going, right? When you see big moves like this, it's like, well, is PulseChain, like, we may not see it in the chart, but is PulseChain already in its early stages of bull run? Is it kind of already triggered? These are kind of some of the little pre-signs that you see with, $16 million coming in. So pretty awesome. Obviously, the MEXC getting back on a centralized exchange again. Obviously, we had that for a bridging and stuff like that. So pretty huge as well. So there's lots of great stories there. David Feder with validating on PulseChain. There is some cool projects on PulseChain as well. Coast brings some big new stuff as well. Tiger onboards as followers. There are so many bullish stories here. I mean, look at this. This is just on a whiteboard at home, talking about Pulse and PulseX. I love that. Tiger God. We've got Google search trends. We've got the Sue hack. Of course, everyone's been talking about that, and that makes PulseChain's DeFi even so much more valuable, right? Because, we haven't been hacked and, got little issues here and there, and some of them have been shut down, but we don't have this big, Oracle issue or something like that. So it's pretty bullish over on DeFi PulseChain. The great DAI bait there, that was over there with the DAI maxis. Of course, your Somi and Crypto Coast Existence 7 having a great chat there. For those that are into, some of the big forks like PDAI and PRAP Bitcoin. We've got Sunny Decree stunned, of course. Huge stuff there. Now, the fact that we got big influences outside of PulseChain being stunned is pretty crazy, right? And it's just a sign that, there's a wider acceptance now that Richard Hart bet ECC, the market's really going to explode, right, for that. We got obviously Hex now. Hex now just being able to onboard now is going to be so much easier. So it's huge, right? So you can read about that with Hex Scout. People can buy Hex directly. Another on-ramps, direct on-ramps. We're just adding more and more. There really is the boom time. We're going from like 2 direct on-ramps to like 6 or something like that, 7. It's crazy. And it could be way more because you can distribute a lot of these API type of things over onto other sites. And so it could end up being tens of thousands just with a couple of, half a dozen main suppliers, right, of direct on-ramps. So really huge. Sun Minimi, of course, it's going to be massive on PulseChain. Bring on the big 2 on-ramps, Banksa and official ramp now. We're expecting 2 more on-ramps. And, of course, the big corporate buy and burn coming up. The 3rd of June is the next big news for Sun Minimi, the 3rd of June. So keep that on your tab there. PulseChain shares trumps the tax bill. So one big, beautiful bill. This is going to be very significant. Of course, you guys know one of Trump's big 3 strategies is the tax bill. For his 3-legged stool strategy, we call it. The other 2, of course, deregulation and leverage, as well as reorganizing the world trade order, right? So the one big, beautiful bill, very important there, and you can read about that, has passed on through to the next stage. So check that out as well. We've got some cool excitement in the community. I love it when big communities like PDC and other communities, could be anybody that's really big or small, it doesn't really matter, but big giveaways there from PDC with some T-shirts and stuff like that. All that apparel, I love it. The more teams with apparel, gets the word out there about PulseChain and, of course, all the cool teams. Crypto Paradise out there as well. They're doing a great job out there as well with the Surf token. Another huge community on PulseChain. I mean, they've got a big following. So that is very exciting to see them come to PulseChain. Just another whole new community coming. So, we've got a couple here. We had that one. We've got another big community, Sunny Decree, probably reaching out to his community in many ways. So we've got more communities coming into the fold of PulseChain, getting ready for the bull market. And of course, as you guys know, we've been covering a Pulse of the Fallen anime, which has gone viral on PulseChain. This is pretty huge. And of course, it's covering PulseChain influencers, a lot of general celebrities out in the world, as well as the main character Hog. And of course, that's been very popular. And look, there's only 10 episodes out. And of course, there's going to be over 100 of these episodes. And of course, that's going to be pretty cool as well. You can definitely check all that stuff out. And of course, there's a new character. We had a big poll on the channel, and of course, there was a new character bought. So you're going to find out who the winner of that was if you don't already know. There was Khaled on Crypto, Money Gang Crypto, Wolf Vision, and Crypto Coffee. So you can find out reading that who it is. So those are some of the highlights. You're going to have to actually read it for all the detail. So definitely do that. There's some honorable mentions in there as well, like Midgard, Explorer, PulseChain, Terra, Dirty Crypto, and many others, Liquid Loans. I mean, there's a lot of cool shout outs there. USD, XDUSD, 9mm. There's some good stuff happening here, so check that out. Then we've got some really cool supporting teams here, which are doing some cool stuff. Of course, Pulse of the Fallen. It's got a full breakdown there. Episode number 10. Got to check that out, of course. That is where Hog, the main character, has a fight with Conor McGregor, the world champion, right? So, or the former world champion. It is pretty brutal. You can see some of the video there as well. So that is out there. So you got to check that out. The next one, of course, is a nuclear collab between Radon and Club 369. You may have heard of Radon. I'm not sure if you may have heard of Club 369, but they're doing a pretty massive collab as well. So you can read all about that. These are all potential opportunities that you may get, out in the crypto market that you may not be aware of. So check those out with Radon and Club 369. Amazing. Look at that graphics. Oh my goodness. It's unbelievable. So yeah, really, really cool projects in the DeFi space. We've got also Sire's Legacy. This is new. This is innovative because this is going to be pretty interesting because this is where, you know how you often see the octopus, have you seen that do political elections? Well, this is different. This is Sire the Ferret. And of course, this is Spirit Bomb's pet ferret spirit, Saya. And of course, this little ferret is going to be making trades and running her own portfolio. So isn't that going to be crazy? So this is going to be really different from PulseChain. And we've got a ferret that's going to be running a trade portfolio, and I think that's a fantastic idea there with Saya. So check that out. That could be pretty exciting. There's some cool stuff there, and you can see Spirit Bomb there with his pet ferret there, which I think is pretty cool. Let's have a quick look at that picture. Yeah. So it's people that have pets. They know how close they are to their pets, right? Pets are like the best friend kind of thing, and very lovable, right? Very lovable. And of course, these little ferrets, they run around. They're like little squirrels, don't they? Or like little ferrets, either way. So that is that just launched Sire's Legacy. Check that out. Emmet Farms, of course, one of the best farms on PulseChain, offering super high yields. They've been doing very well also. So got some cool stuff there with high APRs. If you're after high APRs, I mean, one of them, for example, PulseX is 48%. So if you're missing the old PulseX farm yields, this could be something for you. And there's some very high yields here. Emmet and Islanders, for example, is 286%. So there's some pretty good opportunities. Emmet EDI is 277% APR. So if you're after some hot APRs, they're definitely an Emmet farm there. We've also got Function Island, another big farm as well. So this is got some huge announcements coming up. You've definitely got to check that out too. So yeah, it's got a new sneak peek as well. So if you want to see the sneak peek of the new farm coming up, it's going to be having the token called Yield. Yeah, the actual token is going to be called Yield. That's coming up on the Function Island farm, which has got a really engaged community. This community is going somewhere. This developer is one of our top developers, and he's doing some pretty exciting things there. So yeah, a big shout out to Donny D out there doing a great job. So yeah, and a lot of collabs happening. This is a big theme that you guys are going to see. There's a lot of collaborations happening between teams now, and I think this benefits everybody, right? So this is an explosive theme on PulseChain. If you haven't been aware, is these teams collaborating. And of course, you may not have been so familiar either, but Donny D's Function Island service as a service, right? Platform is dominating. It's actually, a lot of teams are taking it up. So we're getting as service, platforms on PulseChain. A lot of people probably didn't even know that, but this is an exciting theme that's happening on our PulseChain. So pretty awesome stuff there from Function Island. And of course, that if you want to get in early on that, definitely join the community, right? Because that way you're going to get chance of those really super high yields at the beginning. But man, they should be pretty functional and sustainable farms there. Now, the other one, of course, is the show, right? Big shout out there. So Superman, that's myself, of course, in the Kryptonite show. And of course, we're doing a lot of cool stuff in here. You can check out all the socials, Discord and Telegram. And of course, pretty amazing stuff there. Now, if you're a project team out there and you want to get into Monster Thread week number 4, just hit either Crypto MVS up or myself. And of course, you can get on there today. So pretty awesome. And then that is that cool intro video. It is out there. So pretty awesome stuff. So yeah, Crypt MVS is in the house. And a big shout out. What a great job of week number 3 on the Monster Thread. And there's a lot more stuff coming out from the Kryptonite show moving forward. So stay tuned for that. It is coming very, very soon indeed. And we're excited about where it's all going to head. So that is the Monster Thread. And of course, don't forget to share it around, read all the details. I just kind of went through highlights of that. But definitely read that and get involved. That's all we can say. We got Don Function in the house there. What up? Hey, good to see you, Don Function. Big shout out to you. All right, so let's move on into the overall markets for the week. So we're obviously on CoinGecko here. We've got the market cap at 3.54 trillion, down 1.5% at the moment. So 3.54 trillion, down 1.5%. And we've got Bitcoin at the moment holding up very nicely indeed at $108,862, up 1%. And of course, you got to remember that normally Sunday in the US is normally a bit of a sell-off or sleepy day. And often more than not, we get a bit of a sell down, if it's modest. And of course, today we've got Bitcoin holding up very strong at 1%. So that's good news. Ethereum at the moment is up 0.8% at $2,546. Number 4 is XRP, up 0.5%, $2.34. BNB at number 5 is up 0.4%, $670. And number 6 there, Solana, is down 0.1%, $175. Number 8 is Dogecoin, down 0.3%, 22.4 cents. Cardano or ADA there is up 1.7%. So nice little green day there for Cardano, and that is at 76 cents. And finally, number 10 is Tron. That is up 0.7%, 27 cents for Tron there at number 10. So the best performer over the last 24 hours has been Cardano. That's ADA. That is up 1.7%. Now, we're covering the weekly review as well for crypto. And we can see that out of the top 10, the best performer is Ethereum, actually. So that's good news for us because obviously, PulseChain is a fork of Ethereum. And, we're thinking that Ethereum, of course, like traditionally, will lead in the altcoin season, right? So obviously, there's a lot of other chains around that are doing pretty well, like Solana, but that's what we're expecting at the moment. 4.7%, pretty good for the week. Next best performer was, not in the top 10, no better performer. But I guess the closest one was BNB, up 3.9%, followed by Solana, up 3.5%, and then Bitcoin itself, up 3.3%. So those are the best performers over the last week at the moment. Now, what was the best performer in the top 100 coins on CoinGecko? Let's quickly look at that too. We've got Hyperliquid. This has been a top performer, has it not? Up 46%. In fact, we're going to zoom in on this in a minute. We've got WorldCoin also has been performing pretty well, up 25% also. Monero up 23.6% as well, been performing very well lately as well. And of course, Aave is up 18%, and then Fartcoin as well. So real mixture of protocols there in the top 5, right? Real mixture. But what you are seeing also is, a bit of theme around AI coins, right? They seem to be coming back again. And I'm sure we're going to have this sort of maybe, AI and then move over to meme coins. I think we're going to get a bit of that possibly at the timing. So we've got artificial super intelligence or FETcoin there up 11.3%, and Jupiter there up 10.9% as well. And then followed by Injective up 9.5. And look what we've got down the bottom here. Dog with Hat is up 9.4%. Remember, I think we covered that. It was at like number 98. In fact, I think it had popped over the top 100. It is now down at number 94. And I said to you, if you're looking for some blue chip meme coins for this cycle, Dog with Hat is actually probably underpriced, relatively speaking. And this could move up maybe into the top 30, top 20, top, that sort of mark there. So, maybe that's something for you to consider with the old Dog with Hat. But let's have a quick look at Hyperliquid and see how that is performing over the last week there. So, yeah, you can see it's actually, this is the max log here. What we got the first time is the 29th of November. So Hyperliquid not been around too long. And, $10.27 it was on the 7th of April. And here we are now at towards the end of May. So pretty interesting rally there from $10 all the way up to $38.68. Pretty impressive, right? And all-time highs too. Just come off the all-time high yesterday, actually, $38.80. So this is doing very well, the old Hyperliquid. And of course, it's looking pretty good. So Hyperliquid is a performant level 1 optimized from the ground up. The vision is fully on-chain, open financial system with user-built applications interfacing with performant native components, all without compromising end-user experience. So this is kind of what it is and what makes it unique. Hyperliquid is performant enough to operate the entire ecosystem on permissionless financial applications. Every order, cancel, trade, and liquidation happens transparent on the chain with block latency is less than 1 second. So this is turning out to be very popular indeed. The chain currently supports 100,000 orders per second. Hyperliquid Layer 1, of course, uses a custom consensus algorithm called Hyper BFT, which is heavily inspired by Hot Stuff and its successors. Both the algorithm and network stack are optimized from the ground up to support L1. So pretty awesome. Now, their flagship native applications have been Perpetual Exchange, the Hyperliquid DEX, and further developments are coming. So pretty exciting. We can actually go to the website as well. So let's do that while we're here. This has been obviously a big deal here. I suggest you it's probably going to continue to be one of the top performers rallying into the crypto market because of its, the financial side of it. So you can start trading, start building. So it's definitely going to be pretty interesting to watch. So here's the interface, of course, of the trading here on the Hyperliquid Layer 1. And like I said, huge amount of 100,000 transactions per second potentially is pretty crazy, right? They also have some announcements here, and people obviously can buy and sell. They've got trading. Obviously, you can pick the tokens that you want to trade. They got perpetuals, right? They've got spots there. So perpetuals there, basically you can do leverage on those spots. They got what's trending as well. So Hype USD trending 5x, 10x on those. And what else? The DEX only pre-launch AI. They got categories here: DeFi, gaming coins, layer 1s, layer 2s. Meme coins, so they've all got nice categories. I like the fact they've broken the categories down. You can see Fartcoin up there. Fartcoin is one of the best performers this week, so not surprising that it's on there. What's trending? Other ones there. Wild, we talked about the Wild and Aave. They're all doing very well. Maybe even propped up by Hyperliquid, right? Maybe they're all going up together, right? So that is kind of cool. They got vaults here on Hyperliquid. So got those on there. The APR 15% for Hyperliquid provider. So they've got some nice little returns there. Some of these other ones, long hype and BTC short garbage, 46%. Now you'll have to deep dive in behind that to see what that's all about. But 375 million liquidity, pretty good. We got portfolio, of course. You can have your own portfolio. You connect your wallet, and you can see all that. Not bad, eh? Not bad. Nice little setup. And they got staking as well. 419 million staked in there. And of course, they got all the different validated performers in there as well. Just looking at the APRs on these validators, 2% seems to be about the mark there. Now you can get like 10% on PulseChain. So it's good. There's pros and cons to every platform, but that's kind of where it is. Referrals as well. Now this is obviously a big part of this, right? Referrals. And I said to you, I want to see more of this on PulseChain, right? And of course, we did cover Function Island in the monster thread, right? That was covered. That's going to have referrals for the new yield farm coming up, with the token's called Yield, right? So that's going to have referrals for that. So if you want to get referrals, that's very cool. I'd like to see not every project with referrals, but projects that are appropriate with the appropriate level of referrals, like percentage wise. I think that's very important because it's going to help really PulseChain boom. Just having part of the market with a referral program, I think is very important. Not all whole market, because I think that's just too much. But for the right projects, referrals make sense. We know that referrals are coming for X Game, for example, from Firewhale, one of our two big whales on PulseChain, for the big decentralized crypto casino, which I'm excited about. We're going to have other projects as well coming along. It looks like, I think, Chain, Chain, what is it? Chain Online, Bet Online, is it? Yeah, Jacob's project in September. Is it Bet Online or something like that? That's going to be going to have referrals too. So we are going to get some pretty killer apps with referrals, and that's going to be really important for growth, right? Because it just gets people to get out there and get active, right? And that's part of the benefit. As long as referrals aren't too high, you guys know the drill. All right, so leaderboard as well. We've got leaderboard trading there. Look at it. We've got some, apparently this wallet here, P&L of 30 days of $448 million. So that's pretty crazy. ROI 40%, 4%. So this is, this leaderboard here, we might see something like this with Tetra coming out from Stu, right? Stu's coming out with Tetra. It's going to enable you to interact with smart contracts, but it's also going to enable you to automate things. and as well as potentially set up, obviously do limit orders and all sorts of stuff. But you may see people do, I don't know, maybe even be able to do more complicated things around trading and things like that. And so we may see, people set up, leaderboard competitions and things like that with the old Tetra. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how far that goes, that functionality. I haven't seen the full thing, right? So I'm just going on some of their existing website updates for their products at the moment that are kind of merging into one. And instead of being Web3, it's going to be downloadable, right? So that's going to be interesting. We might see influencers, maybe one or two influencers pop up and do that full time, just covering, sort of trading Tetra kind of things on PulseChain. It's going to be interesting to see how that evolves. But that is coming too to PulseChain, so not bad. Yeah, they got quite a few other things on there. That's pretty much it for Hyperliquid. So I just wanted to, sort of zoom in on that just to show you the things that are happening in crypto. Now, the other things you can do, of course, is go to categories here on CoinGecko, and you can go through all different types of categories. Now, obviously, they're the ones that put these projects in within the categories. So you have to decide whether that's whether the ones that are in there, are actually that relevant. But it's a good little easy setup there. They got proof of what do they got? World Liberty Financial Portfolio. So that's pretty interesting. A lot of people track that. They're around the old Trump thing. And then of course we've got stable coins, stuff like that. So yeah, liquid staking. There's all sorts of tokens there. Dog themed meme coins. They got a little category index for that. What else they got there? I'm just scrolling down because I want to find a particular one. They got so many different types, but perpetuals. If you're perpetual trading, like the margin trading there, lots of cool ones there. Privacy coins, obviously, that's going to be more important, right? Especially around was it the Genius Act or whatever it was that got passed? So privacy. What else has we got? AI agents, obviously that's a pretty big deal. AI agents. So yeah, lots of different categories on here that you can check out to see what's moving and what's not. And of course, you can with these categories, you can just hit the yield button, and you can see that perpetuals are doing really well. Not surprising, given that we're going to up market, people wanting to take leverage, perpetual leverage on that, and ride the market up, right? So that no surprising that that's going up. And that's the kind of logic. If you're looking out for value, what are you going to look out for, right? The things that are doing well. If the market's on the uptrend, then surely people are speculating more on that. You got more speculation, so therefore perpetuals should be doing well, right? So you got 36, and then you can jump into perpetuals, and then you can say, well, which ones are doing well? Well, look, surprise, surprise, surprise. Here's Hyperliquid, right? So it's up 42.8%. So there's no real surprise there, right? Bitcoin's at 100, record level highs, and it doesn't look like it's going to be abating, right? It looks like we're really on the move. So there's some really cool insights there. So that is pretty much it on the mark. Let's see what's on top gainers. We've got Strike up 24%, Hyperliquid, and your futures exchange. So you can check out some of those, see if they're interesting to you. Obviously trending is Hyperliquid, Avo, and Bluefin. So definitely well worth checking out some of those. So there we go. All right, so not bad. So that is kind of some of the cool stuff happening there on the overall crypto. Looking at Bitcoin, zooming in on Bitcoin, and we're going to go to a bigger screen, I think. Let's see if we can go to here. Oh, there we go. I'm back. I'm back. I disappeared. I got to make sure that's on, but hey, just the way it goes. So we've got Bitcoin here on the big screen, and we can see, look how strong we're doing. We are back, pretty much testing this resistance, and hopefully going to move up to, maybe consolidate here, move up for the next move, right? And of course, as you guys know, we've still got this golden cross playing out, so it's still very bullish environment. We're pushing to higher highs here. Now, obviously, the more bullish news that we have coming out this week, the better. I actually didn't check to see what the economic news is at the moment, but this is very positive. So let's actually pull up the narrative we got here. You can see, let me just zoom out this a bit. So this is why we're so bullish, right? Trump's got a strategy playing out, right? So we're going to move that up actually because it's getting a bit crowded out by the pump. Pump is crowding it out. We got the trade deal, right? We got the big tax bill. We just talked about that. That's in the monster thread. Read about that to get all the details. And then, of course, we've got the deregulation leverage there, which is going to take longer, right? That's going to be a lot more steps for that, right? But the first thing they're going to be addressing really is the reserve of small to medium banks to boost lending to the Midwest and the middle class as well as manufacturing, right? So that's kind of a big deal there. So yeah, trade deals going very well. The trade deals is what we're expecting to get a lot of news from, and the tax bill as well. So tax bill get big news, and then of course, especially on Monday, right? We're expecting Monday to be a big day for the tax bill. heading the Senate and all that. So that's probably going to have a few changes to the tax bill, but that's what we're expecting. Of course, they want to get it to the president's desk by the 4th of July. And of course, the other one is the big trade deals. We're expecting, we've had the UK, we've had an in-principle deal with China with a 90-day extension for China. We've already got a 90-day tariff extension for the other countries from the 9th of April. And of course, we have about 115 countries or more lined up for doing deals. And it's the top 15 that really matter. And that if we get those all coming out one of each other, could move the markets like fuel on a fire. So we're looking forward to that. And we're in that zone right now, right through to the 4th of July. We're in this zone. We're expecting some pretty big deals. Probably, the only real sticky one other than China will be the European Union because they're all globalists, right, that are destroying the West. So they're going to be the sticky ones, right? They're going to be the, it's the guys, the people in the asylum that have been let loose to run the world, and at least one Europe, right? That you're going to get the most problems, probably more problems than you will with China, right? China is kind of, and relatively speaking, a much easier thing to deal with than what the 27 nations or whatever it is in the EU. With probably half of those nations completely insane leaders, right? So that's kind of the problem we're going to have. But I think we're going to get bullish news out of Japan, South Korea, India, places like that, and we'll probably get some pretty exciting deals coming out, and particularly the top 15 countries in the world with the big GDPs, right? Big trade numbers. Those are the ones what we're expecting. We should get quite a few of those, and the markets will love those, right? They'll be boom, 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 and help drive us up. That's kind of what we're expecting at the moment. So if we think about it, these are the three main strategies of Trump, the trade deal and the big tax bill, all going together. And of course, all before the 4th of July. He wants it all in place. And this is the foundation. He gets the strategy in place by the 4th of July. This is pretty much the laying the foundation for the golden age of America. And hence, that's why we've got the golden age of America here after the 4th, right? Now, I've got the 9th of July because just think that he may end up having a big party about this following the 4th of July. Somewhere in here, he may very well have a big party here. In fact, it may just very well be the 7th of July, right? I might actually move that back down to 7th. So it could be the Monday he has a big party and says, hey, look, we got the big tax bill through. We got the trade deals done. We've done a certain amount around deregulation and leverage. The golden age of America has begun. Congratulations. We're on the move. And of course, he's already pulled in over $12 trillion in investment, which is mind-boggling numbers. 12 trillion and growing in 4 months. And of course, remember, the US GDP is 27 trillion. They are the world's consumer. And so this is massive, massive, massive. I cannot say that enough. That's why I say it quite often. This is going to usher in the golden age of America. What does that mean in physical land? Well, it means that there's going to be construction. There's going to be infrastructure. It's going to be ramped up from what it's already with that, the bipartisan infrastructure deal, what they spend about half of that money. And of course, it's going to be accelerated, a lot more infrastructure in the United States. United States, well known that a lot of the infrastructure is aged and run down. And so it needs revitalizing, renewed. So that is going to be a big part of it. You're going to see a lot of new buildings, civil buildings, productive buildings. You're going to see a lot of high-tech buildings. They're already doing that now, clearing vast swathes of land, building high-tech AI factories and robotics and many other things are being built in the United States. These are accelerating under Trump like unbelievable levels. So, big companies like Apple, all these other big companies coming in to invest in NVIDIA, to invest in the United States, to actually pull in quite a bit of, big market share of what Taiwan's got in AI chips to the United States. So it's going to be pretty big there. Now, we know that a lot of the big machines for AI chips get made in the Netherlands. So there's probably going to be quite a bit of deal stuff done there as well that you might see with the trading deals done with the European Union there. So it's going to be some pretty bullish things. People will see that as bullish when you've got things coming out. Anything to do with rare earths as well with the countries would be seen as bullish. And of course, also obviously high-tech industries the market would take as bullish as well. So we're just going to expect quite a bigger realignment. This is a world realignment, not just Trump, golden age of America, Trump, America first. And you got to remember, America first is actually the world first as well. There's a little bit of pain in the short term, but actually the US is the world's consumer. And of course, if that means that they get richer, that means that it comes back around. It really does come back around and benefit all the other countries that have a decent trade relationship with the United States. So a little bit of short-term gain for some pretty big up gain there is what's probably going to occur there. Now, obviously, particular sectors can have variations between farmers and agriculture because everyone's always competing to protect their farmers. But and no one really wants to compete with New Zealand because our farmers are the best. It's just a well-known fact. All right, but it's declining here because we've got socialists and globalists kind of destroy us. But anyway, enough of that. I don't want to get too down the weeds there. But that's kind of where we are at the moment on the strategy. So it's playing out very well. So we're in a really bullish zone right here. Leading into July with Trump laying the foundation. And then what after July, man, it just gets even better, right? Because all that construction starts happening. It's already happening, but it starts to ramp up and all the GDP. What do we see from Scott Bessent yesterday when we went through his video, or not yesterday, the day before, 2 days ago? Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary of the United States, talking about counter the liberal commentary on mainstream media, which is always fake news, right? I always laugh at liberal commentators because they're the ones that have destroyed the West, right? They're the ones who said, oh, China's going to take over and we're in decline and all this sort of nonsense. It was absolute nonsense for 30 years, maybe longer. Absolute nonsense, right? It was just nonsense. And, all it took was a great leader. Just like they said, the southern border, I can't close. We're going to need the Congress to get on the southern border, can't do anything. When it was intentionally opened up, right? It was intentionally opened up for a lot of nefarious reasons. And of course, then Trump just closed it down within weeks, right? Closed it down. That's exactly what it's like with China. When the United States, right? If you're the United States, all you had to do was change your policy framework and be aggressive, and you would be able to grow. And that's exactly what Trump's done. So what's the lesson there for the last couple of decades? Don't listen to mainstream media, liberal and progressive commentators because they're complete lunatics. They're complete lunatics. It is going to be glorious. And our worldview is playing out right now. I've wanted this for like 30 years. It is finally here. I never thought it would come. We almost lost it. If we had lost this presidency, we would be doomed to enslavement in a 1984 dystopia, and it would be brutal. We saw what these guys are capable of during the lockdowns and the big C word, not the other C word, the other new C word. It is brutal what these guys are capable of doing to us. It is brutal. So it is unbelievable that we have had this, dodge the bullet, God miracle. Let's put it that way. Because now what are we getting now? Common sense, freedom back, security back, and prosperity. The golden age of America is truly coming, and I'm very, very stoked about that. It doesn't help us in New Zealand. We've got a bunch of nutters here, but it does help the world, generally speaking. It's going to have a flow-on effect. And, of course, we see that in Europe with the freedom in the United Kingdom, America going there to, try to pressure them to keep free speech because they're trying to remove it, right? But that is very important. The golden age of America is going to benefit us all, and particularly stock market, crypto market, commodities markets. It's all going to be boom time, guys. It's going to be so good. So it is upon us in the next few weeks. We're probably going to get some pretty heavyweight trade deals coming out very, very soon. All right, so that's kind of cool on the Bitcoin. Ethereum, of course, we're trying to get back to Golden Cross territory. And, of course, we're climbing quite nicely. Look at this. This is exactly what we wanted to happen. And, of course, we're consolidating here. We're above the 200-day EMA, which is a very bullish sign. And, of course, Bitcoin's moving higher and, trying to maybe attack the next line for Bitcoin, 110, 130K. We're on the move there. And so we could see a nice little re-rate here, especially when we get this golden cross. And if we're above the 200-day, this is a very bullish sign, right? So hopefully we'll consolidate here, move up again, and we'll get this golden cross, and that will help, give us support for moving forward as well in connection with Bitcoin, of course. Doing much better on the old Ethereum now. Now, obviously, for the PulseChain Magic Cup ride, we've got the Ethereum, the PulseChain reserve, so to speak, is 171,000 Ethereum, and we need the price to be about $3,775. I think is the average. So we've still got a bit of work to do there, but you guys know how quickly we can re-rate, right? How quickly can we rate? Because if we look at this chart on the 10th of April, we were down at $1,380. Can you believe it, on Ethereum? And here we are today. We're up 86%. So almost 2x. In fact, we did basically 2x within a short space of time. In fact, we come back here, it was 34 days. And that was basically 2x. In fact, if you guys remember, myself and Fat Sammy from Pulse Bitcoin was in the chat talking about this could re-rate very quickly within a month, double price. And that's exactly what we're seeing. So That's what happens in crypto. Can do that. We know that 20, 30 days of the year, that's when most of the action happens on the upside and the downside. And here, look, 30 days here, 34 days, we have 2x on Ethereum. Currently still up 86%. And of course, the chart there potentially going to have a golden cross coming up upon us as well. Let's bring it on. Another little pump to the upside. Another one of these sort of green zones that we had on the 10th of May. And we're on for glory. And what have we got? We've got all the right catalysts. We've got all these big potential trade deals and tax bill coming through. So we've got the right sort of macro events to help us push up there. And of course, if we do get an interest rate cut, that could also be another catalyst for the altcoin season, right? Makes a lot of sense. Interest rate cuts from 4.5% with inflation staying relatively low. And of course, Trump's policies playing into that quite nicely. Oil prices are already down over $20. Trump's already delivering. If you can get interest rates down as well, it's game on, right? Because that's all the financial markets. So oil floods through all the products. That's the physical markets. And of course, he's dealing with the trade deficit, which is a physical side of trade deficits, not to do with services, which the US is a surplus provider, but actually physical goods. And of course, then it's game on here in the financial markets for money with interest rates cut and more money printing, right? So that's kind of the big run here, which is very, very exciting. So things are hitting it's just kind of dream run, really. Everything's just dreamy. Just got to have a bit of patience and make sure you accumulate the good stuff while you can, because it's going to happen very fast. Just like Ethereum doubled inside 34 days. So that's going to be even faster than that when we start really moving up. All right, so Bitcoin ETF flows have also been pretty positive. You can see that here, feeding into that as the market's been going up. We've been seeing a lot more Bitcoin flows coming in. And I think we're going to get even bigger candles than this. Of course, when FOMO comes in, these candles will look like little baby candles, right? So here we got like $1 billion on these two candles here flying in to Bitcoin through the ETFs. These are going to look like little baby candles when we get into this really hyper bull market. As Bitcoin goes to 130 to 150 to 180 to 200 to 250 to 400 to 500,000, all the way up. These candles are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Obviously, it's a function of price, but I think also as a function of volume. So as the FOMO kicks in, and of course, that's going to accelerate very, very fast indeed. So it's going to be a lot of fun there. All right, we've got a couple of people in the chat as well. We've got Heart with Dog in the house. Big shout out to the Pulse of the Fallen, a viral anime series. Good morning, legends. Big shout out to you. Great work as well. And of course, Mr. Onizuka in the house. Of course, a big shout out for our new introduction to the show. And of course, I appreciate that so much. So heartfelt thanks to you, Mr. Onizuka, from the old Superman here on the Kryptonite Show. All right, so that is kind of the play there on the markets. Don't forget to get in the chat there as well, because we're going to get into PulseChain next for the weekly review as well. And of course, if you guys haven't checked out the monster thread, just got released by our promotional lead, Crypto MVS, and he's doing a great job out there. That is out now as well. And if you do want any promotional work, hit us up, because it's more than just promotional work. It's networking. It's bringing to light some of the best new tokenomics on PulseChain. There's so many bullish things happening in the space. It is really cool. It's about synergy. It's about matching up great projects together. There's so much stuff coming, and it's going to be fun to see all play out. If you love innovation and DeFi, this is really a great thing that's happening here, and you can see some of those on the monster thread as well. Some of the news, you got basically some, the best of the news over the last week in all the pumpermentals. You've also got some of the best projects, rising stars on PulseChain as well. And of course, some pretty early moves there too. Like say Function Iron's coming out with their farm, and Pulse of the Fallen there from Heart with Dogs coming out with new chapters of its anime series. And there's really some cool stuff in there. Check it out today for sure. All right, what else are we going to get to? Let's go to PulseChain, shall we? Shall we get into that and have a look at the results on day 745? I cannot believe it. So PulseChain, of course, for those that are newbies, was a fork of Ethereum on the 10th of May, 2023. The founder, of course, Richard Hart, one of the most famous crypto founders in the world. And of course, pretty crazy things happening. On the 30th of May, a couple of days later, the PulseChain went live. And it was game on from then, right? Game on from then. And here we are, 745 days later. I just cannot believe it myself. Pretty crazy. So let's get into the market results here. So Pulse at the moment, quadruple 0398 is down 0.9%. And so we've got thinner liquidity pools, right? So because we've got thinner liquidity pools, we've got the markets move, even little bits. They move a bit. So, but today it's pretty flat. We're at 40% of the mean sacrifice price. We're sitting just below. So we're facing the resistance of 4,200. We popped to 4,200 but didn't maintain it, and we're just slipping down. So instead of 4,200 on Pulse becoming support, it has become still resistance, basically. So once we do pop that, it's maybe like a bit of a pressure cooker. The pressure's building up, and we're about to explode pretty much. And maybe it won't be the market that does it. Maybe it will be a God mode candle. Maybe it is going to be a God mode candle that could do that. It could be pretty fun to see for sure. Let's hear Richard Hart about the God mode candle. Let's hear him talk about that with the thinner liquidity and of course this pressure cooker of bullishness, because we had so many bullish things in the monster thread. Week 1, week 2, week 3, things are really ramping up. It is crazy.
So let's hear from Richard Hart. At any moment, you could get a giant green candle at any moment, because it's easier to get them, because it takes less economic energy, because there's less of it for sale.
So there we are, very wide words, and it's maybe it's a bit of a signal for what's about to come. It could be within 1 month of that video, it could be within 3 months of that video, but it definitely looks very, very close, given all the things that are happening. I just dare say to you, maybe it is the interest rate cut. Maybe when we do get an interest rate cut under pressure, the Federal Reserve under so much pressure with the relatively low inflation, that they have to move. Other central banks have moved. Why are they not moving from 4.5%, right? Why are they doing that? Is it political? It does feel like that, right? They were pretty lame with their last commentary. So let's see whether they finally face the pressure and actually cut interest rates. Maybe that is altcoin season trigger. We shall see. It's pretty crazy. Of course, PulseChain, maybe it's a God mode candle. Maybe the God mode candle happens after the interest rate cut. Maybe it happens on a certain anniversary. We shall see. There are a number of players on the PulseChain that could make a God mode candle. So we'll see whether that happens too. Who is going to be it? We've seen a big, a pretty big player coming on with 555 ETH, 55 ETH coming on to PulseChain. I think they're sitting with about $4 million in that wallet at the moment. They've been buying a bit of Top Cat. They've been buying a bit of PDI. They've got tons of ETH sitting there. So yeah, let's see what they do. It could be all sorts of stuff. Is that just an accumulation? That's an accumulate. It's going to be pretty fun to see where all these players are. We see Rack and Rochelle. We see Firewell. We see 555 Wallet. I mean, there's so many players on here that could make God mode candles. It's going to be fun to see when that just happens here. Of course, the Hex had a history of God mode candles. So why not? Let's see where we go. I remember the New Year's candle. That was pretty cool. End of 2020, 2021, the old New Year's God mode candle. It was pretty cool. And of course, then we had all the parabolics on Hex. It was a great time, 2021. All right, so that's kind of cool. Let's jump over to PulseX, quadruple 0358 at the moment. It is down 1.3%. And we're sitting at 1.41 trillion on the buy and burn, 7.15% at the moment has been bought up and burned. Incentive token $1.75 is actually up at 30%, and that is 55 million supply, only 2,600 ink tokens per day. So we're expecting potentially some cool stuff there. Maybe the Master Chef contract gets handed over to the people. The incentive token is the DAO vote. Maybe we'll get single side staking or some other third party protocol. Richard Hart's talked about forking a wallet, all that good stuff. Who knows what will happen in the space? It's going to be pretty crazy when it happens, I think. Hex at the moment, 8,300 of a penny, down 1%, and EHEX at 2,400 of a penny. Combined price of EHEX and PX is at 1.07 cents. And on top of this, of course, we've got Dipcatcher with HexFlex over on Ethereum there with that second layer protocol, which could add a lot of more demand. Now, I see some people, pro and against, but I actually think that it's super bullish killer app. We're after killer apps. We want demand. We want use cases. And I think that, for EHEX, I think it's fantastic to have HexFlex out there. It's a wrap version, right? You put your token, it gets wrapped. So I think that's going to be very exciting, guys, for where that's going to head. Tons of innovation. And I'm super bullish for him. And Dipcatcher's been absolutely wonderful. The big thing he did, of course, during the bull market, along with Goldkey and Alex McFurter, where they ate up something like 2 billion of Hex during the bear market. And really, they filled that whole void with excitement. And of course, we had Icosa and Hedron and Maximus and all the products that were in there. Of course, the two big whales after 2030, besides the SAC wallet is the Hex Gold Whale and the Maximus account. So we're expecting some pretty major things out there. Of course, the Hex Gold Whale, I think, comes out first, although the OA Sacrifice wallets have got a ladder. I haven't looked at that recently, so it's probably something worth checking out. Crispy Man, who does a lot of analysis and deep dive into Hex mining. So a big shout out to Crispy Man for that. He's kind of the man to go to. Used to be like Crypto Sparbrook and others, but now and Abit wasn't Abit, but now it is Crispy Man for sure, running those killer analytics for Hex. So if you want to find out the deep dive on that, he's the man to go to these days. And he's got lots of wonderful analytics also. So that is kind of where we are on the old PulseChain. 745 days. We're into it. Crazy, right? And things are really looking up for the bull run. 1.3 million beats at the moment, 2 cents for a PulseX swap. So pretty good, cheap business to do PulseChain. Our validators, we're a full DeFi chain, 47,280 validators. And of course, the bridge is what everyone's been talking about. And there is a story in the Monster Bridge about how much money has come into it. So definitely check out the Monster thread because it has just come out live and you guys are getting access to it straight away here on the Crypto Night Show. So big shout out there to Crypto MBS, our promotional lead, who's put that together, and it is out doing the round. So find out all the latest. Great. There's some really cool stuff in there. 96.4 million at the moment. So we're up a little bit from yesterday. I think we're at 95.8 or something. So we're at 96.4. So we're up a little bit there. The DAI at the moment is 22.3 million. And you guys know I took a snapshot yesterday. No, not yesterday because I didn't stream because I took a day off, which is not as rare for me, of course, as you guys know. But I did take a snapshot of the balance that we had 2 days ago. Actually, what day is the 24th? So yeah, 2 days ago we were at 94.8 million. And we're now at 96.4. So we've definitely gone up from 2 days ago. And that would mean that we're up 1.6 million in 2 days. So that's pretty good, right? And the DAI here, I had the DAI 22.447. So we are down a little bit on the DAI there. What's that? Down 70, 80,000 from DAI in 2 days. But let's have a look at some of the other numbers. I had 8.6. I had $21 million for Hex. We're at 20.8. So we're down 200,000 there. For ETH, I had at 17.67. So we're actually up on the ETH a lot, guys. We're up on the ETH on a lot there. So it was at 17 million. We're now at 19. So we're up 2 million on the ETH. And the ETH amount, 700. What are we now? 744. So that's that big account coming on with that 555 ETH, right? And the 55 ETH. So there we go. That is the impact of a new large player on PulseChain lifting us up from 6,700 ETH to 7,442. So that's a really big climb. In percentage terms. That's huge. So yeah, the USDC, we're at 16.3. We're now at 16, just under that. So we lost a little bit there. So ETH is our big climber here. This is what's moved us up. It's 1.6 million net. The Coast is at 9.8. That's pretty much the same. USD Tether was at 5.3. We're at 5.2. So we're down 100K there. Bitcoin, of course, 27. We're pretty much around the same mark on that at the moment. So presumably we're relying on the dynamics of these numbers to be updated correctly. But it really does look like Ethereum is the main player there. 700, 700 and about 730 or so ETH in 2 days. So that is where we've made all our gains on the bridge. Very exciting. And, God mode candles. We're going to use some of that for God mode candles. You guys decide on that. We got Goo God in the house there. Another awesome team with the King and the Crown. King Jr. in the house there. So big shout out to Goo God. And if you're a team out there, I always say this every time because it's really important. If you find team that's really doing great with promotions, you want to, maybe you're struggling, maybe you're going, how do I do that? Well, obviously you can contact us because that's what we do as well. We're the first professional services I know helping our teams doing that with Crypto MVS and myself and the Crypto Night Show. And of course, we've got a bigger team around us. So it's not just us. We've got a bigger team around us as well. And Goo God is a great team. That does fantastic promotions out there. So if you're looking at a few little clues, how do you grow your community? Yeah, you can contact us, but you should also check out some of the teams that are really crushing it out there. And Goo God's one of those. So big shout out for that. And of course, a big shout out to Help with Dog, also doing a great job with promotions also. So not bad stuff happening in the community out there. All right, let's jump over to PulseChain markets to see where we are. We're currently 55 minutes in the hour, so doing pretty well here on the weekly roundup for crypto and PulseChain. I just realized I got a little full stop there in the title, which is hilarious. That's funny. I was doing two things at one time at the time when I was doing that, which is dangerous. We can all agree that's pretty dangerous to do that. So let's have a look at the tokens. 18 hours ago, with this new token called SIR. It does look like it's part of a wider group here of tokens, but that's still going up. What do we got there? I don't know what it is, so I'm not endorsing this. Remember this, because I go through the top 50, 100 tokens. I'm not endorsing any new token. I'm just talking about the fact that it's up there. You must do your due diligence on it. So just remember that. But anyway, its volume is 13K over 14K liquidity. It's got a 33K market cap. It does have a website and a Twitter, but once again, people do pay for that, but it's like, you do have to check it to make sure it's okay. So I'm not endorsing anything. It's just got a link to Strategic Reserve. So that's basically what it's called, SER. It's probably a pump tires, right? That was on there, and it just seems to be running on this one. And there we go. It's ticked away. It doesn't seem to have a lot of red flags. Doesn't seem to have a lot of issues quickly under the quick intel. Although you should probably use something like Midgard with their new AI token checker to check out. It's probably got 1 billion tokens. I'm not going to check that now, but you can check that out. It's just talking about the strategic reserve here, and so on. So it's using the that number's not correct, but it's using that one. And there we go. So that is up. People seem to be liking it. It's only a pretty small retail play. But let's see where it goes. It's not really had any pullbacks yet. We shall see. It's going to have a pullback some stage, right? Just check. What do you use for that? Use the RSI, right? Use the RSI on it. That will help you a lot. Although it's a relatively new token, so just remember that. UFO at the moment up 9.4%. Been around for over a year, doing very well there. Of course, UFO and PGGC. That's doing pretty well, so not bad. Dominance from OG Web Chef is up 6%. So we haven't got big gainers today on our default view. This is the default view for Deck Screener, kind of the 24-hour trending setup. But dominance there is up 6%. Let's have a quick look, see how this is tracking, because a lot of the printer tokens did get sold down quite a bit. They did do a project over on Ethereum too, as I understand it, but does seem to be climbing back up at the moment. So that is a nice little climb back after because if you're at the top here, if you're at $2.24 and you get sold all the way down to 35 cents and you rode that down, you didn't sell out. You'd be earning yield and on the volume, but the volume is also falling, right? So it's been nice. If you're down here at 34 cents, you're a bit panicky. Maybe you sold out. I don't know. But if you did come back, it's come back to 80 cents. So you've managed to get back some of your bags, depending on where you bought there as well. And of course, the yield, you're still getting paid yield on lower volumes, but still getting paid yield there. That is kind of it. $250,000 though, and liquidity is only like 146K, so it's like a 2-to-1. That's pretty good, really. Surf, of course, you saw the monster thread. Surf token was on there, right? The big new community over on PulseChain. So the Surf crypto doing pretty well. And of course, let's quickly check to see that crew. So let's go to Chrome and check that out. So huge community coming to PulseChain. Of course, launched with this Crypto Paradise. 126,000 followers here on Crypto Paradise, and you can see that they've come to PulseChain. So that is huge. This is what I'm talking about. PulseChain growing. It is pretty awesome, right? Pretty awesome indeed. In fact, you can see on the monster thread, if we go back to that, that it is on the monster thread. So let me just scroll down here. Where we got on here? What tab am I on? Post here. Let me just go to that. So let me scroll down. Where's I had to repost on there. I'm not sure what's happened to my repost there, but let's go to MVS somewhere here. MVS, Crypt MVS. And bam, let's go have a look at that monster thread. It'll probably be pinned to the top. Monster thread 3. Yeah, so we had it in here. The story is in here. And let's go scroll down here on that one. Sunday Decree, I think it was further down, wasn't it? Crypto Paradise and Surf Ride the Wave. So that is a story today in the monster thread. So pretty exciting, and definitely check it out. Right, check that out today. That is the monster thread. It's got so much good stuff in it, guys. Honestly, it is going to be it's the place to go to for news updates and stuff in the last week. And we've got more stuff coming, guys, in the Crypto Night Show team. So going to be cool. All right, so that is doing pretty well. The chart looks pretty amazing in a big community, right? So, let's see where that goes. Now, the volume is kind of interesting because only 11K volume over 175K liquidity with 27 makers. So, they've got a bit of work to do there. I guess you have to check the validity of that, of course, the surf, but that is ticking away there. Remember, that's up 3% as well. Incentive token is also up to 3%, so a few movers there. Cumamon is up 1.9%, and of course, that's been around for 9 months. And then, of course, Soul Sun Mini Meal, right? Now, we've talked about this. This could be the first $1 trillion project The only thing I will say about this is that there are a lot of holders, and those holders, for the most part, got the tokens free for the most part. They earn points, then they swap the points over 20-1. It was, so I think they had their points. They divided by 1.5. So you get about 2/3, 1.5, something like that, and then they multiply by 20, and they get the points for. They get the tokens for the Sol token. That's kind of how the swap happened on the Sun Mini Meal. So remember, this is a superfood, kind of the holy grail of getting all your nutrients and having less calories to do it, because you're not having to have sugar and all the other rest of the stuff that's in fruit and things. And so this is ticked away now. So there is a lot of holders, and so that's going to be pretty interesting. But that is the biggest catalyst, right? So obviously you got to assume that it's an ongoing concern. You got to assume that they can manage the company right and manage company through growth. Those are very important business concerns. A lot of businesses go under without that. But at the moment, this is growing very, very well indeed. And of course, led by Wolfgang, which got a pretty cool name. There is actually quite a bit of German community behind this too. German influencers coming in this and stuff like that. So it's not something we see so much in the English-speaking world, but there is a lot of Germans, covering this. So it's pretty interesting. Obviously, there's going to be fun to see this play out. Now, we are expecting some big stuff happening here. That's the chart at the moment. And the market cap is 614 million. This could be the first $1 trillion project on PulseChain. And I'm not saying that it's going to be that tomorrow, but it could be in 5 years' time. That's kind of the goal. Currently, they've got about 70,000 customers. They're targeting 5 million. So they've got 70,000 customers. Let's say they've got probably, I don't know, maybe 30,000 of those are recurring customers. And let's say the current holders of Sol token are about 12,600 approximately. So, if you've got let's take the gross number, 70,000, you've got 12,600, or if we take the 30,000, because not everyone was in the point system or something. So, then you might, and if they're targeting 5 million holders, by the way, of Sol tokens. So that implies, if we use a linear average, that implies a customer base of about 29 million. So 29 million, which is very doable because they're going global, right? Expanding out of Europe and increasing their manufacturing. So this could be pretty massive. 12.3 cents at the moment. Let's see where this goes. Now, there's a lot more alpha about that. If you're after the alpha on Sun Mini Meal, then you got to get into the strategy club on Discord because that's where it is. I dropped a big ton of alpha there, and of course you can check that out in the strategy club. Join up to that. Only $35 a month, so super cheap value. You got people out there charging $1,000 for way less value in there. So if you want to get the heavyweight projects that are going to, you're trying to get those big 10,000x projects, you need to get into the strategy club today because that's what we're focusing on, right? So this is doing pretty well at the moment, 12.3 cents. And of course, let's see where it goes. We've got some big news coming up on the 3rd of June, right? So big news from the team. And of course, I've already alluded to some of that in the strategy club. So if you want to find that out, get in the strategy club today. The link's in the video description. That's the best $35 you've ever spent. That's pretty much it per month. Jump in there. All right, so let's get into some of the other ones that are doing pretty well. We got SolidX. Now we had some fighting words coming up from SolidX. We're going to go to that today. So let's go find out SolidX. SolidX. Now this is Firewall, right? So SolidX is Firewall, and he put out some fighting words here. But I take him seriously, right? This is what if you're going to do a strategy. What's one of the strategies you would do? You'd follow the whales, right? Follow the whale strategy is something to do. So you could follow Rack and Michelle if you knew what he was getting into. You could follow Firewall if you knew what he was getting into, right? So he is he's saying this. He's going. So to all my lovely idiots and plebs who still believe in whole PDI or any other Maria useless liquidity web token, so you can either agree with or disagree with that statement. It's up to you. That's not what I'm talking about on this particular post. Sell it all and buy SolidX right now. Wow. And I take him seriously on this, right? If you're going to follow a whale strategy, wouldn't you take a whale seriously about this? Especially if he's got a track record as well. If you fade this advice, you will feel so dumb when SolidX rises in your face. So take note. Now, I know some information that a lot of people don't know about this. And so you got to get in the strategy club if you want to find out. That's all I'm saying. So there we are. If you fade this advice, you will feel so dumb when SolidX rises in your face. Yeah, boy. All right. Remember, I told you before it happened and you had time and spaces to do it. So if you're not taking this seriously, well, it's up to you. You're free to do what you will, right? You're free to do what you will. So remember that. So this is really some magical stuff right down here. There we go. Now, that is pretty much it there. So the whale strategy, it's on you now, and you are a winner or a loser. Those are some fighting words. He's had 50,000 views on that. 50,000 views. Can you believe it? So yeah, I said here, Solid X game Firewhale. It's going to be next level, and it is indeed. But hey, look, there's things going to be happening which people are not just dreaming about. So you can decide: are you going to follow the whale, or are you going to follow not the whale? You decide. You decide there. All right. So it's one definite strategy you can do, and a big shout out to Firewhale. He's crushing it out there. I'm looking so forward to X Game. And I said to you, X Game, man, it's going to have one of the big referral projects on PulseChain. And something else, which I'm not telling on the live stream. So it's going to be pretty cool. You don't forget to get into the Strategy Club. Links in the video description. So there we go. That is doing pretty well today. It's at $12.22, up 2% at the moment. But what happens when it starts having 50% plus days, 100% plus days, just out of the blue? You know, $12.22 could suddenly in a day or two be worth $25, $50. So just be careful out there. As well. Now, this is the one that's going to benefit from the burning of X Game and also all the other games. Remember, this is going to have a professional crypto license, and what other projects out on the crypto world generally have licenses? Very few, if any, that I'm aware of. So this is going to be very special, and of course, it's also going to have pretty amazing games as well. So I'm pretty excited about that. Now, you guys can join our X Game Telegram group. The link's in the video description for that, and that is the first dedicated community for X Game. So definitely join up to that. We've got all the news flowing into there, price news, latest news on X Game, Solid X, etc. You want to get on there. Trump token, one of the pump tires, up 2%. Gophers, what's the first 404 contract there from Dip Catcher? We talked about Dip Catcher with a Hex. That's doing pretty well, $173 at 1.7%. It's way off its highs though. I think it was used $1,200 or something like that. It is down 173 at the moment, but good innovation there from Dick Catcher. PDC the Greys, we saw UFO at the top here, doing pretty well, up 9.5%. While PDC the Greys is not too bad there on PulseX, up 1%. Gas token, another OG Web Chef. So we are seeing quite a few of the OG Web Chef printer tokens, dominance, remember, and what's the other one here? Gas station here, all green today. Very modest, of course, but green. Incognito up there as well. Up token, doing pretty well there from Haunted, up 0.75% there, and of course Teddy there. Teddy Bear had a bit of a shave off in value. It's got the big influences, right? So it's got Ian Heinisch, I think it is. It's got Moon King. Obviously, both of them over 100,000 followers on X. And it still had a shave off, right? So it's not invincible. But if you're going to follow another strategy, what would another strategy be? Well, another strategy would be to follow the biggest influencers on PulseChain, right? So I'm just dropping all this cool stuff here. Follow the whale strategy. Follow the big influencer strategy. It could be pretty good. Now, of course, you got to have a bit of a track record on them. You can't just so just because they're in that class, you just don't believe everything they say. But if they've got a track record and you're fairly confident there, maybe it's something worth backing, right? Maybe it's something worth backing. But once again, what do you do in crypto? What's your basic number one thing in crypto? Diversified portfolio, Don't FOMO. Even if you think it's the best thing in the world, don't FOMO all your bags into one thing. Make sure that you're diversified, no matter how good it is. I don't care how good it is. Make sure you're diversified, right? So that you don't, something unexpected could happen, and then it all goes to zero, right? So don't be in that one. And of course, sometimes that zero can be very slow. It happens in slow motion. It's like you're almost caught in a times dilation or something like that. Now, thinking of time dilation, if you haven't seen the old TV series from the 70s, I think it was 1999. You got to go check that out. They have a whole episode on where there's a time dilation with these. I think alien. I can't remember the story exactly, but I think there's either aliens or humans that are in a different speed dimension, and they're in one dimension. They keep hearing this buzzing noise. They're wondering, what the heck is that? The whole episode, and then of course it turns out one of them accidentally somehow moves into the spatial dilution, and of course everyone else is stopped in the original one. In his time zone, they're all basically stopped still because the time is so much faster and everyone else is moving around, and it's all the crazy stuff. It's a pretty fun episode. All right, so check that out. All right, there we go. Sci-fi. What's it? Sci-fi Sundays or Sci-fi Mondays, wherever you are. All right, so Teddy Bear there, moving back off the bottom. We were down at 4,500 here. moving back up to 4,800 here, but certainly down from its little rally that it had. It got all the way up to 91. Didn't manage to break out though, right? A lot of resistance before that 1 cent mark. That's basically what happened, right? Just chugging along here, just too much resistance at 1 cent, and people couldn't hold on, and down we went there. The RSI never really got over hot, you know. I mean, it got up to 70. I guess that's the mark, and it's just all gone all the way down to 40 here. And maybe this is a reasonable place for it now to bounce from. So keep a lookout for that. The RSI in relation to the price, maybe this is the moment. Or it could. There's always a chance it could take another leg down to 30. It will depend, but I think we've got quite a lot of bullish news coming up. So let's see if it can manage to head back up to 8,000, 9,000 of a penny there. So we'll see. That is the old teddy bear takeover. Now, a lot of people, of course, in James Maria OG teddy bear hate teddy bear takeover, right? There's all that out there, but it's best just to ignore all the drama. As you guys know, we're not really a drama channel. We don't really like drama because we're really focused on community and the crypto, right? Those are kind of the community and the crypto. That's kind of where we sit at the moment. All right, so those are some of the moves there. PMX 500, of course, the big meme index there, up 5%. Best everything, another pump tires community up 4/10. So we've got a few little greenies here. They're not much. There's nothing in crypto. There's nothing, but at least they're all green. Even Hex, of course, and Stake Tech ETH as well. So they're all green. Pretty much it. That is pretty much the market at the moment. So only really a few decent little performers today. UFO dominance up 7, 8, 9%, and then Sir here on the leaderboard. Now, obviously, there's a lot of tokens that are not on this leaderboard. And so you can check those out as well. That's why we make custom lists to pull out a lot of tokens that are not even on the list here. But this is the default view for Dex Screener. All right. That pretty much brings us to the end of the show. It's an hour and 11 minutes. I can't believe it. I felt like it was 20 minutes. It felt like 20 minutes, but it was an hour and 10. That's just the way it goes. So I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. Get ready for the bull market ahead. In fact, I'm going to quickly pull up the economic news coming up. I'm going to look at the economic calendar and quickly see what is there anything of significance outside of what we're expecting with the trade deals coming up this week. Let's have a quick look. So next week, I guess it is, because I got to remember I'm ahead of time. So it does appear that let's see what we got. I'm going to have to filter this out with just the important stuff. I want to get rid of it all and clear it all, clear it all. And I just want the USA. Really, that's the only one that counts. Asia sometimes counts, but really it's the only USA is the only one that counts there. Sometimes Asia does count. We see that sometimes Asia can move the market down, but we're just going to go for this one. So I just want to do majors as well. What do we got here? It's a very good calendar, actually. Very good calendar. We're going to go through 3 stars. 3 stars, apply. There we go. Let's see what it comes up with for the week ahead. So let's pull this on. And this is pretty cool. So if you haven't seen this, it's definitely worth checking out. Should we go full screen on this? I don't know. Let's brave it. All right. So this is the calendar here on investing.com. Now, remember, investing.com is it's not a leftist, I would say, but it's definitely left leaning. So you'll see a lot of the commentary written up. That's all typical nutters writing liberal stuff. If you're wondering why I'm so annoyed by them, it's because I've had to put up with them for 3 decades destroying the West. So it gets on your nerves a bit of time. All right. So we got ISM manufacturing. So this is kind of your manufacturing indicator coming up on the Monday. So this is Monday there. It's going to have, we had a shrinking of the ISM manufacturing last month. So it was 48.7. So hopefully we'll get over 50. If it's over 50 on these indexes, you're normally in growth, right? That's kind of the play. So we'll see whether that comes, how that goes. Well, the other thing, of course, on Tuesday, we've got the JOLTS job report. That can move the market around the jobs. And we had 7.2 million job openings in the previous month for, was it April? So we'll see how that goes as well. And then we got on Wednesday, non-farm employment and ISM non-manufacturing as well. So they're both being still in growth rates there. So it'll be pretty key that they stay over 50, probably the key there. But of course, the market always removes what does the market average expectations from analysts expect versus what actually happens. That's typically what moves the market, as well as, of course, being in a growth mark over 50. So we'll see how that goes. And then on Friday, we've got average hourly earnings, non-farm payrolls, and unemployment. That on Friday could move the market a little bit on the market as well. So those are kind of the main, what we call the 3 stars, right? These are all the ones that could possibly move the market a little bit. We'll see how they go. As long as they're all kind of in growth, we should be fine for next week. So there's nothing, maybe apart from Friday, maybe that we might get. That's the only thing that we could possibly expect that may move the market. If it weakened off, like if unemployment went up, they might say, "Oh, we're starting to, get into sort of recession type of news." That could be it. But apart from that, that's pretty much it. All right. Exciting times. So that's pretty much it on the news there. It's always good to, if you're on a Sunday, to have a check out what's on the economic calendar and see how that goes. Now, I'll post that link in the chat there in case you guys want to save it to your favorites and play around with that calendar. There's lots of cool features that you can change around with. All right. That is pretty much it on that one. Now, we've got a comment here from Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley in house there. Do yourself a favor and grab some Sparta before it's too late. Oh, woo! That's from Sean. A big shout out to the Sparta community out there. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here. It's an hour and 15 minutes. That's my max time, generally speaking. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. I think I might play you out this little video because this is kind of where we are in the market right now, and I think it's pretty bullish. So let's go to this screen, and I'll play this last one out on the end. I hope you guys enjoy it. Take care, everybody, and enjoy the new promo. Thank you very much, Mr. Inazuka there. It's pretty badass for the Kryptonite show. And, of course, don't forget, check out the Monster thread. Yeah, boy. Link is at the top of the video description. And I will leave it in the pinned messages at the top of the video after the live stream. And, of course, you can check that out today and share it around. That is the key thing. You want people to learn about PulseChain. That Monster thread is the place to go for the news over last week. It's got all the pumpamentals and some of the best rising teams on PulseChain. So check that out.
Not a mystery. It is a repeat of the debt cycle. They are rolling the debts. They are doing the same thing each cycle. It's not to do with a halving cycle, nothing to do with any of that. It's all driven by liquidity cycle and funding of debts. Each phase, we get phase one of the banana zone, banana number one. The corrective zone, banana number two comes. Another correction, banana number three. So this is the banana zone. So that's what happened in 2020, 2021. Off we go. Sorry, that was 2017, which again looks very similar to this one. That was the last one. Here we are now. It can't be clearer to me. I've shown you the macro evidence, the technical evidence, the sentiment evidence. Everything here suggests to me that hold on to your hats. Don't fuck this up. Don't lose control of your tokens. Don't use leverage. Don't get your wallet hacked. Just sit with it. Be careful. Don't get FOMO. Do all of the right things, and we'll go up to the next phase of correction zone. That's going to be harder, because the next one that happens, we'll have a 35% drop, and you'll all say, is it over? And you'll definitely be sure it's over, and everybody on Twitter will tell you it's over, and it won't be over. By our work, we suggest that because of the elongation of the business cycle, because rates were higher for longer, the forward-looking liquidity suggests that, again, probabilistically speaking, without any guarantees, this whole thing goes into Q1, maybe Q2 of 2026, which would align with Trump's, trying to win the midterms as well. So everything's lined up for us. I think it started. So keep the faith, keep building stuff, and let's keep driving Siri forward with all of this. Thank you.